Entrepreneurship is very much a chicken and egg situation. You know, what comes first? Is it the customer or the entrepreneur? Is it the business or the entrepreneur? Everybody knows that without the customer, your business will not run. But without the entrepreneur, the business will not exist. And entrepreneurship is a very hot topic currently in South Africa. Never before have we needed entrepreneurship so much to create jobs and grow our shrinking and slowing economy. And a lot of big money is being spent to develop these businesses. But what about the entrepreneur? Are we forgetting about the entrepreneur? Our almost out of control unemployment rate and the resulting frustration positions entrepreneurship as this coming savior, prophesizes it as this coming savior of individuals, communities, and the economy. However, that will not happen if we do not have a growing, sustainable pool of able entrepreneurs. But entrepreneurship is a false prophecy sold to the masses, promising upliftment, escape from inequality, and a lot more. What the speakers and the trainers in the book forget to tell the masses is that entrepreneurship was never designed with the entrepreneur in mind. Entrepreneurship only focuses on the needs of the customer, and the customer only, not the needs of the entrepreneur. Look at the life, working conditions, and financial stability of your typical business owner, and you will see that I speak the truth. But when we fail the entrepreneur, the individual that starts the business, then they cannot create the businesses that will create the jobs that we so desperately need. And in a way, our current approach to entrepreneurship is actually killing the entrepreneur. Let me use an example. I think it's safe for me to assume that all of you have been or currently are in a relationship. You know, with another breathing human being. You've done that? You've experienced that? Yes, gentlemen? You've done that? Excellent, good smile. Must be a beautiful girl. Now imagine, you go into a new relationship knowing what that person wants, what their needs are, and what makes them happy. Then you take your time, your money, and your attention of giving everything to them that they possibly want. However, there's a caveat. You never tell them what you want. How would that relationship be? How can you describe that relationship in one word or a statement? Shit, that's a good one. I love the honesty in this room. Anybody else want to improve on that one? One-sided, yeah. I wouldn't want to be in that relationship, ever. Because that's the basis of an abusive relationship. But isn't that how entrepreneurs start their businesses? Isn't that how we expected to start the business? Maximum sacrifice? See, our overfocus on business success, serving the customer, solving customer problems, have ended up in us forgetting about the entrepreneur. It's time that we have a more human-centric approach to entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial development. We need to start with the entrepreneur first. Not doing so will simply perpetuate and enlarge current problems that we're facing with entrepreneurship, like the increased financial risk to entrepreneurs and financiers. You have to realize that entrepreneurs are people too. They have lives. They're trying to build a better future for themselves. And we know what it costs to serve the needs of the customer down to the last cent. But what about the financial needs of the entrepreneur? What about that? May I ask you a question? Have you ever seen the entrepreneur on a business model? What about the strategy? Or the financial projections? Yeah, my favorite one. Where are you? I'm not there. Yet the financial needs of the entrepreneur is a reality and it will never disappear. Not taking the financial needs of serving the customer's needs as well as the entrepreneur into account increases the risk for the entrepreneur, possibly building a business that cannot sustain them. It also increases the risk to financiers, development programs, incubators, because now you're making critical decisions on strategy and financial decisions on half the data. On top of that, we are discounting the human element in it. Okay, when the entrepreneur needs to form part of the business. And also, have you noticed, and the researchers out there, that entrepreneurs are getting older? Yet many media outlets still portray entrepreneurs as these single individuals running from deal to deal, doing their thing, sharing a flat with 5 people, eating 2-minute noodles for 6 months just to cut costs. Absolutely. But that's not the truth. That's not what really happens out there. Most entrepreneurs have bigger financial responsibilities. Mortgage, car payments, families, school fees. We need to acknowledge this and stop just sweeping it underneath the carpet. How can you expect an entrepreneur to do the best work when they're concerned and worried that their child will not be allowed into school tomorrow morning due to non-payment of school fees? And that's a reality. The entrepreneur is a customer too. And I'm going to repeat that. The entrepreneur is a customer too. If the business serves the needs of the customer very efficiently, but not the needs of the entrepreneur, what would then motivate them to even give them their best towards that business? Using my relationship analogy, if this relationship does not serve me, why am I in it? Potential mismatches that we can have. Business ideas and opportunities are all around us, and especially in Africa. Africa has so many challenges that we can birth millions of businesses, African businesses, that can uplift this continent profitably. Our shortage, though, is in finding able entrepreneurs to execute on these opportunities. But usually we start with the opportunity first, not really knowing the wants, needs, and goals of the underlying entrepreneur. It's almost like this opportunity lottery. Anybody who thinks they can do it gives it a go. Reminds me very much of the last American presidential election. The fact that you can do something doesn't mean you should. And we end up with entrepreneurs running tech companies without the needed knowledge, skills, and understanding. We spend an endless amount of time and effort matching products and customers. We need to spend an equal amount of time matching the entrepreneur to the business. What about partnerships turning into sinking ships? Many ecosystems nowadays prefer startups with co-founders. I support that, not only just because I've been an entrepreneur that for 20 years experiencing the stress and the utter loneliness of entrepreneurship. I support it because it's a shared vision, a shared risk, a shared buying, someone to bounce ideas off, less loneliness, and more resources to grow this business. But so many partnerships are sinking ships, taking viable, profitable, scalable, and impactful businesses down with them. There needs to be an alignment between the founders, but also a deeper understanding of what each individual is trying to accomplish. You might say, yeah, but business success is what they want to achieve. And I say, yes, absolutely, but that's half the story. I'm a family man. I want the best for my family, but I also want the best time with my family. If I'm in business with a single childless founder and the business starts making money and I go to school events during working hours, one partner might feel that they're doing all the work and the other one is not. And you know how these things can escalate and get out of hand. You have to realize building a business with a co-founder is like building a polygamous relationship. I have to manage my relationship to the business and my partner and make sure that those two relationships serve me, but that I serve those two relationships as well, so that we can all achieve what we set out to achieve. And it's simple. If we cannot run as a team, maybe we shouldn't enter the race. My favorite, incubation, constipation. I've worked with many entrepreneurs on these incubation programs and enterprise development programs. The business is usually measured to a list of requirements set forth by the corporate sponsor that results in them getting the maximum BEE points. And sometimes they forget the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is made acutely aware of what they need to do in that business and how they have to work at that business. And this can lead to pivot panic. Entrepreneurs stuck in programs for 3, 6, or even 12 months, building a business they know is not going anywhere, but still just saying we're in development. And the result of that is incubation constipation. Programs full to the brim with businesses that are not going anywhere and entrepreneurs hungry to do something new. The human entrepreneur leads an approach to rethink entrepreneurship. We need a more human-centric approach to entrepreneurial development and see entrepreneurs more than just engines that drive the business. That's why the human entrepreneur was born. Our mission is to accelerate human potential using business as a platform for development and self-exploration. I have a vision of creating an environment where we foster, accelerate, and celebrate entrepreneurial potential, manifesting in businesses that serve the entrepreneur and the customer, uplifts communities through job creation, and grows the economy. And we do that in 3 steps. The human entrepreneur, I like this. You have the lean startup. Everybody familiar with lean startup? It's a beautiful process, one of many, but customer development, product development. Who's ever read The E-Myth? One of the speakers not here today, Marang, she talks about processes within businesses. And it's important, the E-Myth talks about the processes. But a chair needs at least 3 legs to stand on. And the human entrepreneur falls in that missing gap in the entrepreneurial success puzzle. The human element. You can have the processes to develop products and services at low risk. You can have the processes, but if you don't have the entrepreneur behind it all, then it will just fall flat. Instead of just trying to push as many entrepreneurs through a development program going like, yes, one of them will come off, instead we should focus on the person that starts it all, the entrepreneur. Businesses come and go, but what remains? The entrepreneur. Rather have a stable of able entrepreneurs to create successful businesses. Now, I want to just pause a little bit. I'm not saying or even suggesting that current ecosystems or development programs should be abandoned. Neither am I saying or suggesting that the current programs and ecosystems are in need of some type of fixing. They work very well, and they can work better, faster, and with less risk once you approach entrepreneurial development with a more human-centric approach. We do it in the following way. 3 workshops, 3 non-consecutive workshops, totaling 3 days of training. Quick and easy to fit into any business schedule, as existing program, while remaining super affordable. If you want to know the entrepreneur that you're working with, where they're going to, if they're in alignment with your program, and if you can serve them and help them achieve that, the best way to do that. You can also add a coaching element to help the entrepreneurs internalize this new approach of designing and aligning themselves into the business. You can't work on your business if you're not in your business. The process is simple and applicable in any business of any size in any industry. It serves pre-incubation, pre- and post-profit businesses, and even early stage. You can even apply to the employees. Why? Because we're here to develop the one thing that makes all businesses run, the human capital. Knowing what the entrepreneur is working towards, what their hopes, dreams are, it helps you to more efficiently and more cost-effectively align and create your training and your support, mentorship, and partnerships that you do that.